So tell me again the backstory of why we need to have this pricing discussion. So we're going to have a pricing discussion. This would be your first true business gig where you're going to be charging someone for the skills that you have to offer, the service you have to offer. So tell us a little bit about the backstory and how you got to this position.
So I had done Peter's event that he had coordinated, the Safehouse, where they were like doing a rally against police brutality in America. And so one of the recorders that I had performed messaged me the other day asking if I can be a videographer for like dance videos that they're trying to create and put onto YouTube. And so yeah, they had asked me that the other day, and they had asked me how much I would charge like off the bat. And so I kind of realized that this could be the first opportunity that I can get paid for like doing something outside of Mama Bird Media. And so I had kind of asked Clark like what kind of advice he has for figuring out like how to begin to start charging people, because I'm kind of unclear about that since this is my first time.
Wonderful and succinct. Thank you. And then also, because we just talked a little bit before this, um, you have done work study at your college. You have done work for Mama Bird Weddings and Mama Bird Media and made money that way. Um, Tell real quick how you've just recently invested in yourself and why.
Yes. So after filming for the bridal shoot for Platinum Bridal, I realized that I'm going to need to invest in a new computer eventually. I was gonna wait till school started, so that I can like have more money like to like there for my scholarships. But I realized I have money now to buy a computer from stuff that I saved up from, and so I realized that like it's important to invest in yourself, and so I decided to buy a new MacBook, which is gonna be like my first ever MacBook. So that I can edit better videos, because the computer that I have, the laptop I have, is not very good with editing, and even the desktop is, and it takes forever to upload videos and to render them. And so in order to edit like this 4K footage and this really nice footage, I decided to go ahead and buy a new computer.
And that's an expensive investment, and that is a fixed cost for your business. And that's your first business expense, really, and it's a big one. And so let's say that that computer costs $2,000. You need to earn up to $2,000 before you start paying taxes on your profits. So you can get up to $2,000 business and not have to pay taxes on that because you've already invested in yourself. Now, there's different accounting things where actually that's not true because it can be depreciated over years. You're going to be using it over years, but it's a significant amount that you'll be able to write off, what they call writing off, and that's how it works. It's not free money, but it means that you don't have to pay taxes on the money that you make up to a certain point, so that you can not pay taxes on that. So that's investing in yourself, and also you're literally getting a kind of a discount on that computer because you're using it for your business and pushing the world forward in that capacity. So congratulations on that. That is really exciting. Your computer just froze up when we were talking right now. So in the future, you will be clearer. You will be on an even better computer. And then we also need to, get sponsored for our internet, and we'll get there. Okay, so I want to start with pricing based on my own story and where I've got my information about this. So I've been doing wedding videography and wedding filmmaking for 7 or 8 years now. And how I got into that was through just a passion for video editing, which you share as well, and really being self-taught in that field. So I think there's a lot of things to be said about formal education, but now we live in a world where you can get tons of information at the snap of a finger online, right? Hopefully people will be consuming this in that way. And so no to not stop here. There's a lot more information on pricing that you can go to and seek that out yourself too. Where I've gotten a lot of my information is through different podcasts that I listen to based specifically on wedding filmmaking. So there's different wedding filmmaking groups online where all these people come together and just share information. And then they also have podcasts that go with them. So the way I would consume it is while I'm driving, I would listen to these podcasts on 1.5 speed so that I can get in more content in a shorter amount of time. When I'm working out and exercising, I would be listening to podcasts. When I'm walking my dog, I'm listening to podcasts. So you're able to learn while you're doing other things. So I highly recommend that. And so I learned a lot about that. And the way that wedding videography is priced is very different across the board. And there are kind of premier pricing strategies where you're charging a lot of money. There are entry-level pricing strategies where you're charging a little bit of money to try to get business. And to me, it all depends on where you are in your business. And so you can get more into that later, but right now you are literally at the start of your business. This will be your first paying job. So what I want to start with is asking you kind of what are your priorities for this job? Again, that can be money-based, that can be exposure-based, that can be experience-based. What are you thinking as you go into this project, and what's going through your mind about the reasons for you to be doing this?
I think my goals right now are to gain experience. I want to be able to get my hands on as many different projects as I can right now. And so I'm not really looking to make like a whole bunch of money right now because there's still like a lot of experience that I need to learn. So yeah, I just want to learn experience.
And I think part of that experience is what we're talking about here with getting paid money. So when you get paid money, you're now a professional. So it changes things. And so it doesn't even need to be a lot of money in my estimation, but that changes the way it is. And even not a lot of money often is still a lot of money to the person who's paying for it. So they're investing in you, they're showing you with their money, they believe in you. Um, and so that to me is kind of the big part of this is you'll need to somehow do an invoice for them. And so figure out that process where you're actually kind of billing them to pay you. You'll need to talk to them about money and then what you're going to deliver for that money, which is an important part of this. You are going to need to go through the process again of figuring out how to collect the money from them and how you take that payment. And as you become more established, you'll realize that you need to charge more than you're going to initially charge for. So meaning that you're going to need to pay taxes out of this money, so you need to factor that in. You're going to need to have more equipment to be able to charge for these things, so you need to factor that in. Currently, you're going to be borrowing equipment that I own that you've kind of earned through networking and through connections, but that's still a privilege too. You're able to rent video equipment if you need to in the future, or find other ways to borrow it from other people. But there's also responsibility that comes with that. So I'm with you. I think that the most important thing is that you're charging something at this point. I think the most important thing is that you're going through this experience. And then as you move through your career, you'll start to realize that you can't do jobs for cheap because you're going to be busy and people are going to, the opportunity cost is you'll be losing out on getting more money from other people that'll pay you more. And with that too, you'll get more exposure. And so it just kind of is a natural progression. My first wedding video was through a friend of mine, so a networking situation. It wasn't a friend, actually, it was a coworker. And I showed the school I worked at that I was able to edit these videos because I did something for the students. And then I had a fellow teacher reach out to me and say, "Can you do our wedding video?" And I struggled with how to price. That was a long time ago, and it wasn't as prevalent on YouTube, or I wasn't aware of those resources on YouTube or podcasts about pricing. And so I didn't know what to charge. A really quick thing on pricing too is there's something called the 4 P's of marketing, which are product, price, place, and promotion. And with those 4 P's, price is a very big component of your marketing, right? When you see a Mercedes that's $50,000-$60,000, you know it's a quality product based on price, and there's prestige that comes with that. So price is a huge factor. When you see a Honda, you may think it's good quality, but it's a different level of a lot of things than the Mercedes based on price. So you naturally have a picture in your head. So as you move forward in your career, you need to be conscious of price is a huge marketing tool, and where you price yourself is going to dictate how people look at you. You can give the best product in the world for really cheap, and people will not think of you as a really upper class brand. And then some brands, literally the whole thing is just charge as much as possible because that's their marketing. They charge an insane amount, and that shows you that they're the best in their mind and other people's minds. And people push up to get to that area. So my first wedding video, I charged $300 for, I believe. That seemed like a lot for me at the time. Currently, we're charging $2,500 to $3,500 for wedding videos, so it's a huge difference. And I would say the industry standard is more in the $1,000 to $3,000 to even $5,000 range for that. Weddings in general are higher risk, higher stress, higher stakes, and so there is a charge that's for that. So it's a kind of a premium fee that you pay for that. For videos like this, you need to figure out several things. You need to figure out what kind of time you're going to be investing in this, what the deliverables are going to look at. I asked you yesterday to reach out to the person. Did you reach out to them, and what did they respond with?
Yeah, so they said that they're just looking to create like a video a month of like of them dancing to like a new dance trend that's kind of out. And then I just like edit like a quick few minute video of that and then post like we post it to YouTube. So something like that.
And do you have the skills to be able to do that?
I believe I do. Like I would just edit it, like record it, like probably have them do it a few times and like edit the best pieces together. And as I like learn, I can try to make the videos like look more technically better. But I can pretty much I can record like a dance and upload it pretty easy.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that the editing part is the longest for videos. It's the most difficult part and the most labor-intensive part is the editing of it. If they need to be perfect with their dancing, that could take a certain amount of time, but you can also kind of dictate the amount of time that you're going to be there recording them. And so that could be something too that you base things off of. So the way that pricing works is you can kind of come up with a number that sounds right initially, is kind of how I started out with it. But the more technical way would be to figure out how much you want to make an hour, figure out how many hours you think it's going to take, and then work kind of backwards and dictate it from there. And then again, that doesn't factor in the cost of equipment. That doesn't factor in the cost of your computer, which would be equipment too. So there's a lot to factor in there. Um, and so that's something that I don't know. Did you ask what the budget was for this?
He said that he doesn't have a set budget, but he wants to make sure he pays me like my worth. Like he doesn't want to lowball me, but he doesn't have a budget. He's wanting me to kind of give the range of the price.
And I don't know if this should factor into it, but I think it does factor into it. Is this a young person, an older person? What is their kind of stage in life?
I think they're pretty young. I'm not too sure. They look like they're maybe their late 20s.
Okay. So then I think that factors into it just because, again, more lived experience, more respect for others' time comes with that age, more disposable income in a way. And so I think that that would be great. And so, kind of the way I would try to figure this out is try to come up with a number that would be um, valuable to you, that's going to value your time, that's going to again, you're invested in yourself already, so get you some money back for the equipment that you're investing in, and realistically you're going to just invest it in yourself more. I don't believe you have your own camera at this point. You've rented cameras or borrowed cameras from your university, then you've also borrowed cameras from me, and so you need to invest in that so you can do more work, and so you're kind of looking at this as an investment too. And so I guess I'll kind of ask you, what is your initial thinking on price? What are you thinking about this? And then what is that for? This is for one video, I think it sounds like. Initially, you're kind of doing a trial run, it seems like, on both sides for you. So what are you thinking of? If you go, you would be going to wherever, to some place to meet them, to record them physically, correct?
Yeah, I'm assuming that that's how it will work, is doing it like in person.
And so that's a tough part of this too, is you want to know that, you want to really have the details. At the same time though, especially when you're starting out, it can be feel like you're going to lose the sale, like you'll be annoying to people. And you do want it to be easy to work with as possible, but don't be scared of being confident. Don't be scared of knowing what you're doing. Don't be scared of asking questions, because then that shows that you're a professional too. Okay, so then I asked you a question, but I don't think I let you answer. So what are your initial thoughts on price? What are you thinking right now?
So yesterday I started watching some videos about it. And so what some people do is they have a half day price and then they have a full day price. And so they just like have that like initial price where this like what they charge to film for like half of a day, like 4 to 5 hours, and then a full day like 8 up to 8 hours. And then from there they begin to charge based on the hours of editing. Like they charge per hour how long it takes them to edit that video. So they'll kind of like estimate how long it will take them to edit a certain video and then like do the hourly rate and then add that to the like the daily rate.
Yeah, I think that is definitely one way to go. The good thing about that is then you're paid for all the hours that you're working. As you get more established, being paid more for the hours you're working, and again, if you can get more efficient with your time, if you're charging $20 an hour and it's going to take you 5 hours, you have $100. If you charge $100 and you can get it done in 3 hours, then and you're still giving them value for that $100, and you're making $33.3 an hour, right? And so one lump sum can be good in some ways, because you can make more in certain ways. But yes, if you run the risk, if you do a lump sum, that you will be working a lot more through it. Another thing that we haven't talked about that's really important is kind of revisions. So that you, and this is where the hourly charge comes in too. And there's is a lot of information too about this kind of the wedding industry available that would be similar to this. And so you can say, I will give you, I will finish, I will provide this product with you, and then I will get your feedback and do one round of revisions, and then get your feedback again, do a second round of revisions. After that, I will charge you this much per hour or something like that too. And then that covers you in the future as well. Also, you want some sort of contract with them, kind of stating what this work is doing, which covers yourself and then also covers them. This can again be tricky initially to do, but there are stock contracts that you can pull from, and then you can let them know that this is why you're doing this, because you want to protect yourself and protect them. While things are good, having that contract can then create a relationship that is really positive, and then there's not ambiguity in what you're delivering. And so yeah, so an hourly wage, it can be really good. In a situation like this, it could end up being expensive at that point too, though. So that could be a tricky thing too. My thinking with this again is that let's say you charge $500, which would be really good money for you for this, and they don't do it, or they don't want to do it at that price, and then you don't get this experience. Or you charge, I don't know, $100 and you do get this experience, and then that's really good moving forward for you. And then the next time you charge $300, whatever it is. My thinking is then again, you get paid something, and then really at this point, it's not the money that you're going for, it's that experience. And so making sure it's a good experience for you. One thing people are scared of, I believe, is that if you don't charge a lot on this first job, then people are going to pigeonhole you in that price point and say, oh, well, you did this much for this person. But what you say in that situation is, yes, I did. I've now learned and had so much more experience. I have all these connections, and at this point in my life, this is what I'm charging. So if you want to work with me, you're kind of then dictating that part of it, and then they'll see the value in you there too. So don't be scared of moving your pricing around. Once you get really established, then you will have very firm pricing that you come up with, like we do for our wedding videography business. But you're just starting out, so there's they're taking a risk with you because you're not established in this, and so there is a discount for that. You're also, though, willing to give it more at this point because this is really exciting for you and a really cool thing. So going back, I guess, to you again, and I kind of hate that I'm being ambiguous, and I think that you want me to kind of give you a number to go at, but what are you thinking with those things? Are you thinking hourly? What would an hourly rate that would be worth your while to be able to do? Another thing that factors into all this too is thinking about, is that an hourly rate for the actual just recording part? Are you traveling during that time? Some people will charge a travel fee in these things, and you can work on that later. I don't think you should at this point. And so there could be a separate, price for recording versus editing, but I wouldn't get into that at this point. My thinking of it is kind of to find out what they want, and to me, I think you should give kind of a lump sum. Is I'm going to do it for this much money. That's factored in. We're going to do 2 revisions. This is what that looks like, and then we'll take it from there. And if this does, and then again, leaving room for, if you want to do this every month, that's wonderful. But this is my initial price. This price could go up over time, or I want to basically renegotiate. Plan on negotiating after this experience, so we can talk about what this experience worked on both sides, and the value that this brings to you, so that we can move it forward from there. So saying all that, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think that I should start with one lump sum, and not really focus on the money aspect of it too much. It's really cool that I'm getting paid for this, but this is my first time doing this type of video, so I can't expect it to be all crazy. So yeah, I definitely think starting somewhere very reasonable, and just charging for the recording, because I don't think editing will take that long, because it's just going to be a few minutes. I can get it done in a day. For these videos probably. So yeah, I think just kind of communicating with him, this is where I'm gonna start off at, see if it's feasible for him. I don't want to miss this opportunity. So yeah, just definitely communicating and seeing if it works, and communicating that as I get better over time, it may increase, but the video quality will also increase.
So you're thinking kind of, let's think of this as 2 days work basically, right? There's one day where you're recording and one day where you're editing. Again, there's other things that factor into this. You have memory disk that you have to have. You've got storage on your computer that you're going to have that goes into all of this. But with that kind of, I'm just going to ask you, I guess, where are you at with your pricing? So for 2 days work for producing this, where are you kind of around? What are you thinking?
I think 100 is a good starting point.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's undervalued for the value that you bring, but I think that again, everything we talked about, $100, it seems like legitimate at that point. Like you're gonna literally be paid $100 to do something that you're really good at, to do something you did in school for free. There's so many different factors, and it's not life changing money. But if you are doing it for that, and again, and you're efficient with your time, then you can be paid, $15 an hour or whatever it would be for the amount of time you're working, and then you're paying a livable wage at that point. And again, this is just a springboard, and I don't think that's scary in any way. You could start kind of one way I think about it is you could start out higher and kind of leave room for negotiation. But I think that you are honest with them about where you are currently in your business, that this is going to be a good deal for them because you want to do this and have this experience, that you want them to refer you to their friends, that you will charge more in the future, but that this is something that you want to do at this point for this much money. And then think of it, one of the ways I think about things is the kind of opportunity cost. So what's lost, the difference between getting paid $100 and doing this job versus getting paid $200 and not doing this job, or like that extra $100 for where you are in life. And I guess this is a privileged thing that you're in a position where you don't need the money right away, but that you can do that and push yourself forward is not worth either. I don't know. It's not worth. I think that going for more money won't have as big an impact of doing this job and getting it done quickly, right? You could go back and forth, or you could sour your relationship in so many ways. So I think for your first job, that's a very good price. I think it's, again, you're using high quality equipment. You are great at what you do. You're going to bring amazing value for this price. And so that's something too. And so going in with that expectation that my prices will rise, that I would like you to work and sing my praises to the world so that you can grow from there. You want to be able to use the footage for your own marketing and your own website, all those things are built into it, and they'll be like, yes, absolutely, we want to do that, I imagine. So I think that's a good way to approach it. And then again, just kind of setting the tone though, that you're going to be charging more in the future, that you are at a certain part in your career. I think that's very fair.
I agree.
Okay, so then your next steps, I think, need to be following up with them, giving them that quote, really zeroing in on what, or maybe even before you give them that quote, you zero in on exactly what they do, or you write it out of what you're expecting to do. I will go to a location that's within this radius. I will record you for or work with you on recording this dance for an hour or whatever that would be. I will then edit this into whatever they're looking for, so you need to make sure that that's established, and I will do that for $100. Once I edit it, I will send it to you, and we can do one round of revisions. I would say one round at this point, one round of revisions. If we need to do additional revisions, then it's going to be a $25 an hour charge where I'm working on editing it additionally. And so you kind of have that all set, and that I'm doing this for you because I'm early in my career. I want to get established. I want you to help me network. This is a really good price for the quality of work that you're going to be getting. In the future, this price will go up realistically. And if you refer me to other people, they will have to pay more than this because I can't function and have my good equipment and all this stuff at this price. But that I'm really excited to work with you. We'll do great work with you. Thank you for believing in me. Like all those things, you can communicate to them, and then move forward from there. And again, the main thing, you can be in your own head, and I even did it too by us having this conversation today when you were ready to kind of move forward yesterday, is you can get in your own head and like delay things because of this reason, where literally you could just have this done and moved out of the way. And so you're losing out on your money in that perspective too, because there is, again, that opportunity cost where you could have had it already done and be on the next job. And so that would say the quicker you do this with them, the quicker you move forward too. So I would try to get it done quickly. I know you're working on multiple other projects at the moment, but that's something I would communicate with them quickly.
Okay, thank you. This helped a lot. I'll let them know all of that. Yeah.